This video is about equation of a tangent and a normal line. Let's go to A. Remember, first of all, you have to change every term into single power. So we get the y equals 3x to the negative first power minus 3x to the negative second power. And we know this is the power rule of a derivative. Coefficients stay, drop down the exponents, then x n minus 1's power. Also remember this concept. Derivative is a gradient of a tangent line. Since we are looking for the equation of a tangent line, therefore, you have to figure out the slope of a tangent line, which means derivative. And also get the coordinate. Let's label that is x1, y1. Then you can use this formula called the point-slope linear function. Y minus y1 equals mt x minus x1 to figure out the equation of a tangent line. Since you have to figure out the slope of a tangent line at x equals x1. So let me write down this one is slope of tangent line equals f prime of x1. For A, let's assume this is a f of x, so it's easy for us to do the derivative. Second step, we will figure out the derivative. Remember that it's a coefficient stay, so stay, drop down minus 1, x negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2, then minus 3 times negative 2, x to the negative third power. Then I organize, you will get negative 3 x squared, because negative exponents means a fraction. Then negative 3 times negative 2, that's a positive 6 over x to the third power. Third step, let's figure out this slope. So mt equals f prime of this is x1, y1. Therefore, that is f prime of negative 1. So we substitute the negative 1 into this derivative function. You will get negative 3 over negative 1 squared plus 6 over negative 1 to the third power. Here is the formula. If we have negative 1 to the evens power equals 1, while negative 1 to the odd power, you have 2n minus 1, like 3, 5, 7, you will get the negative 1. Therefore, negative 3 here is 1. Negative 1 to the third power, that's negative 1. So you have negative 3 minus 6 equals negative 9. Got the slope, and also we know that it's negative 1, negative 6. That's your x1, y1. So we can write down the equation of this tangent line. That is y plus 6 equals negative 9 x plus 1. You can leave as it is because they didn't ask you to change into slope-intercept form. This will be your final answer. Now let's go to B. First of all, remember all single power. Therefore, we have f of x equals 4 times x to the negative first power plus square root of x will stay, because when we do the derivative, I need to remember square root of x, that is 1 over 2 square root of x. 1 over square root of x, you will get the negative 1 over 2x square root of x. Therefore, for second step, you need to figure out the derivative function. That is 4 times. Drop down minus 1. So x to the negative second power plus. For square root of x, let's get the answer directly. So organize negative 4 over x squared plus 1 over 2 square root of x. For third one, we need to get the slope of a tangent line, that is f prime of 1. See, they give you x1, they didn't give you y1. You need to figure out the y1 later on. So we substitute 1 into this derivative function. You will get negative 4 over 1 squared plus 1 over 2 square root of 1. You will get the negative 4 plus 1 half. That is negative 7 over 2. Then for third step, we need a x1, y1. For x1, y1, we know that is 1. We don't know y1. So we plug into the original function to get the y1. So we get the y1 equals 4 over 1 plus square root of 1. That is 5. Since we already got x1, y1, that is 1, 5. Then the slope of a tangent line, that is negative 7 over 2. Therefore, we can write down the equation of a tangent line, that is y minus 5 equals negative 7 over 2 x minus 1. This will be the final answer for B. Now let's go to next one. Find the equation of a normal line. What's normal line? For example, we have a curve like this. And for this point, that's A, f of A. We have a tangent line. This one is a tangent line. Then we already know the slope of a tangent line equals f prime of A. What's a normal line? This normal line will be perpendicular to this tangent line. So let's draw this one here. Perpendicular. We call this is a normal line. For this normal line, we use Mn equals. It will be opposite and reciprocal of this slope of a tangent line. In other words, it will be negative 1 over f prime of A. Official formula for gradient of a tangent line and gradient of a normal line will be this. Gradient of a tangent line times gradient of a normal line equals negative 1. We call this is the official formula for gradient of a tangent line and gradient of a normal line. So for A, still we need to figure out the single power for this function. Let's do f of x. We assume this is f of x. That is 5 over square root of x minus square root of x. For square root of x, you don't have to do that. We just use that formula. Square root of x derivative equals 1 over 2 square root of x. 1 over square root of x, we do negative 1 over 2 x square root of x. Therefore, for derivative, you will get 5 stay because that's the coefficient. Negative 1 over 2 x square root of x. Then minus 1 over 2 square root of x. We organize, you will get negative 5 over 2 x square root of x minus 1 over 2 square root of x. The x1, y1 is given. Therefore, first of all, we need to figure out the gradient of a tangent line, slope of tangent line. That is f prime of 1. You will get negative 5 over 2. Then times 1 times the square root of 1 minus 1 over 2 square root of 1. So you get the negative 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. You will get negative 6 over 2 equals negative 3. Therefore, for slope of a normal line, you will do opposite, that's 3. Reciprocal, you will get 1 over 3. And for the fourth step, we already know the slope is 1 over 3. Then your x1, y1 is 1, 4. That's your x1, y1. So we can write down the equation like this. Y minus 4 equals 1 over 3 times x minus 1. This will be the equation of a normal line at x equals 1. Now let's go to B. For B, you have to turn it into single power. So we get the 1 over square root of x minus x to the negative second power. We assume this one is f of x. That's the first step. Second step, we do derivative. For 1 over square root of x, we know that is negative 1 over 2x square root of x minus. Drop down the exponents, then minus 1, that will be negative 2x to the negative third power. So we organize. Negative, negative will be positive here. So we get the plus 2 over x to the third power. Then the third step, you got to get the slope of a tangent line equals f prime of they already told you here's x equals 1, so here's 1. We plug in, you will get the negative 1, 2 times 1 square root of 1 plus 2 over 1 to the third power. Therefore, you will get negative 1/2 plus 2. You will get the 3 over 2. Then we can get the slope of a normal line. That is opposite reciprocal. Negative 2 over 3. We already got the slope. We need a x1, y1. So let's go to 4. x1 is 1. You need to get the y1. That's a substitute 1 into this function. You will get the 1 over square root of 1 minus 1 over 1 squared equal to 0. So you have a 1, 0, x1, y1. Your slope is this. So we get the y minus 0 equals negative 2 over 3 x minus 1. For any linear function, we don't do y minus 0, so we get the y equals negative 2 over 3 x minus 1. Then this will be the equation of a normal line.